All right, aloha, friends. It's game time with the Goss. I'm your host, Brian Gossett. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, you're having a great day. I got another guest here. Very excited. It's been a pleasure to work with him. This is Eddie Brown, girls soccer coach at Birdville High School. Thanks for jumping on, Eddie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Birdville, they're 8-1-2 overall this year, 2-1-1 in District 7-5A. Coming off a 6-0 win over Denton on Tuesday. We're now a month into the season. So we'll start with that, Eddie. Just, you're 10, 11 games in. Just what are your thoughts about this first month and what have you seen from this group of girls?
Well, actually, it's like I don't even feel like we're a couple months in just because of the weather. The weather's been, our second meet up in Denison got cut short. We had to shorten our games in the Baggett tournament as well due to district weather policy. We had a span of about 2 weeks where we could only work out inside, and we don't have an indoor facility, so we were in the gyms. So I feel like we're just now finally starting to come together. Um, I kind of adopted a new philosophy a few years back, with club soccer basically going year round. Now the kids don't have a break. We have our fifth period soccer class where it's an hour and a half long. And that's basically just when we work out every day. We don't do anything after school. Occasionally we'll come in and lift weights before school. But I think it kind of makes for a little bit of a slow progress, but I think it keeps the girls a little fresher. And, knock on wood, hopefully we can stay a little more injury free as the season goes along. But as far as where we're at right now, I kind of look at, I look at different games, different than I would others in that some games I feel like are a real measuring stick, and some games I feel like we should just play really well. And the Ryder game, we played well. When we played Lebanon Trail, we did not play very well. When we played Grapevine the other day, we played pretty well against them as well. And so I think we know we're in a good spot, but we just try to take it, day by day. We don't try to look past the next game. Of course, I know I've already looked at some of the other teams in the district. I mean, I think Argyle's got a little bit of a slow start, but I think they got a new coach. So I think they're going to come on towards the end. So we have them on Friday. And then, of course, like I said, we already played Grapevine, but we got Colleyville Heritage, and I know they got a good crop of young girls, and Allie came back, and I know they're kind of the bar. So I feel like if we could play with them, we'll be put ourselves in a good position for the second round of district.
Yeah, Allie Love, Colleyville, taking a break there last year, but she's back, right, going to Rice. So overall, last night against Denton, 6 goals, shutout. Pretty happy with that performance.
Yeah, I mean we have a huge group of seniors. We have 13 seniors this year, and we knew that some of the kids that graduated, we could just plug other kids in. We got Chloe came back from a torn ACL last year. She missed our entire season. And we had experimented with moving Trinity into the middle, but we just decided it was best to put her in the back. And, our back is made up of, 3 kids who basically started there, for the last couple of years. And then another girl that split some time in there last year in Ryland. And, they're really playing well in the back. We have 2 solid goalkeepers. Nika's committed to, Texas A&M Commerce, and Reagan's doing well. And so really it was just, kind of getting everybody solidified. And we got 3 pretty solid freshmen that came in that we're just kind of trying to work them into the mix as we go along, and get them in the weight room, get them a little bigger and a little stronger. But they do some good things out on the field. They're starting to gain some confidence as well.
Yeah, I got to watch you guys play Brewer at the Johnny Baggett tournament, and you mentioned Reagan Brown, one of your freshmen. She kind of stood out. She scored a goal that game. But yeah, what have you seen from her and some of the other freshmen so far?
Well, I think Reagan's still a young and emerging player, but I think she has a chance to be dynamic. Celine's going to be graduating next year when she goes to UNT, and she might step into that spot. But we've kind of tried her in the back some as well, and she's a lefty, and that always helps for a left-sided player. And she's shown some ability that I think the future is going to be bright for her.
And you mentioned some of your back line, Trinity Doom and Laney Riddle, Ryland Trinidad, your goalkeepers. I know, probably the girls, they want to score as much as possible, but with that experience in the back, is a big focus on defense this year.
Yeah, it's all, you know, that's always kind of our primary focus is we would rather win a game 2-1 or 1-0 as opposed to win, 6 or 7-0, although we would take that. But, defense is always something that we try to focus on. Um, you know, we preach to the girls that we try to be very blue collar. We know what we are, and we just go out and try to outwork our opponents. And honestly, you mentioned 3 girls in the back, and one of our girls is probably playing as well as she has at any point in her 4 years at Birdville is Hannah Green. And she's doing a great job for us right now. And, she's a real vocal leader. And, I think with those 4 girls in the back, there's a lot of cohesion. If one of them kind of gets drug out of position, the other girls covers for her, and they might be playing center back. And next thing you know, you look out there, they're playing, as a wide defender. And there's just a lot of cohesion back there. And I think that really helps right now.
Talking with Eddie Brown, girls soccer coach at Birdville, his 25th season with Birdville High School. You've been the girls coach now since 2007. You started there as the boys. Has soccer changed in the last 20 years?
Yeah, I got a new assistant this year. I had a couple assistants who had been around for a while and did a lot of good things. But our new assistant this year, Coach Cottrell, came over from Timber Creek, and I'm getting a little long in the tooth. And I got some young kids that I actually want to watch grow up. So she came over this year, and it's been a really good thing for our girls. And I'm just kind of grooming her for whenever I step away. And she's brought over a lot of good things. I've kind of learned over the years is if you want to survive as a coach, you have to be very adaptable, and you can't be like a lot of football coaches. They can take their offensive and defensive scheme and their hard line approach and go anywhere and be successful. And I being here for as long as I have, it's always you got to constantly evolve, and you got to we're not like Southlake. We don't get a bukus of club kids and high level ECNL kids. We get a few ECNL kids and a few ECNL RL kids and some kids that play even rec. And so it's like we just kind of like got to change what we do every year and just try to put the best 11 out on the field. And like you're talking, it has changed. Club soccer back in the day, basically they didn't work out in June. They had tryouts the 1st of July. They had basically very few practices in the spring, nothing over Christmas. And now, we have kids that are going on tournaments and they'll miss district games and ECNL tournaments during the middle of the season, which, as coaches, we've kind of adapted for. And like, we don't have varsity games that weekend, but it's really changed. And, the kids just get better and better. And the kids now, with the way, our Metroplex area is, the kids are just getting more spread out. They're not just packed into one area. And so you'll see some good club kids. Like you mentioned, Brewer, Nathan's got some good club kids this year. I know Azel has some good club kids. I mean, they're spread out all over the place. And, so I think that helps, and it helps a lot of schools be competitive. And it also takes a lot, you have to really grow your players, especially now with the advent of, there's club softball, club volleyball, AAU basketball. And our middle school per se doesn't really have a middle school program to speak of, like maybe Keller ISD or Grapevine or Southlake. So, when we get our kids, it's a lot of times when they walk in here as a freshman, it's our first experience with them if they haven't been at camp. And so we just really, it's just all about growing, it's about growing kids. As an educator, it's like you're growing kids, like I'm trying to grow Coach Cottrell as an adult, and a future head coach, but at the same time, we're trying to grow kids into being great, young people. And, that's just kind of our philosophy. And as things change, we try to change and adapt with them. And we just kind of feel like that's why we've, haven't had the success we always want to have, but we continue to kind of stay above average in my eyes. Our program itself in the 20 some odd seasons, knock on wood, only hasn't made the playoffs one time. And, we've made some deep runs. We never quite got over the hump, but we managed to stay competitive and, coach them up and just do the best we can.
Kind of talk about your journey with Birdville. You start with boys and then girls in 07.
Yeah.
Why the jump to girls?
Well, I was doing boys, and our principal at the time, we had some turnover on the girls' side when Coach Clark and Coach Wankowitz left, like back-to-back years, and they knew I was going to be around, and the girls had a good senior group coming back, and they wanted some stability on the girls' side. I had a big group of seniors, and I'd already been trying to recruit Coach Garcia, from the boys' side. And when I went over to the girls' side, it was just kind of an easy transition, and it really worked out well because both my daughters ended up getting to play for me, and that's part of the reason that I decided to go ahead and do it. And that was kind of a great experience for me at times, and a tumultuous experience at times, just because how it is being the coach's kid. It can be a little tough. I could put them in very last person I put in the game, and people would still be like, "Hey, why are they going in the game?" And it's, so it was a little bit difficult journey for them, but it was well worth it for me. And coming to the girls' side, it's probably the first couple of years I did girls. It's a wonder that they kept me around, because I coached them as hard as I did boys, and over the time I've had to kind of like tone it down. And I think being a dad, of 4 girls now and a boy, it's kind of helped me. Being a dad kind of helped me understand what it was all like, what it was going to be like, and what it is like coaching girls.
I mean, other than the physique, but what's the difference between coaching boys soccer and girls soccer? What's the biggest difference?
Honestly, that's been one of my biggest areas of growth. And I think Coach Cottrell coming over this year, that was part of the reason that I was really intrigued by her coming over. And that's just, I think boys, they can hate each other, and you roll the ball out there and they'll play to the death. Girls, I would say 50% of your battle is getting them to not only like each other, but appreciate each other and enjoy each other, and play for each other. And I feel like once you can get to that component, that's when girls can really start to excel. And Coach Cottrell came over this year. We started a book study. We have players of the match. We have players of the week, doing some things like that. We're doing John Gordon's Hard Hat book right now. The kid, she had something she did when she was at a Keller Timber Creek, and we're doing it here, and I think the kids are really enjoying it. And to be honest with you, like when we do our book studies on Wednesday during our hawk time, it's like we've had a lot of girls open up, and just I think we've learned a lot about each other. It's been emotional from time to time, and I think it's helped us all grow, to be honest.
Awesome. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned watching your semifinal game against Brewer, but you guys did go on to win the Johnny Baggett Memorial Tournament, the 5th time Birdville has won out of the 16 years. Just obviously, how special is it to you're hosting the tournament and you're winning your own tournament, and then just for it to be Johnny Baggett, maybe for people that didn't know, because I didn't know Johnny Baggett, so just talk about that.
Actually, Johnny came to the camp a couple years when I was still doing boys, and the year that I went over to the girls, I think he was actually a freshman that year. Played for or somewhere around then. Played for the boys team a couple years, and unfortunately passed away of cancer. And then, as I know all too well, because both my parents passed away of cancer, it just became like just another opportunity to grow. And along with his legacy, we've started doing a cancer awareness game, which all of the Birdville high schools participate in. We do it as a scrimmage. We raise money, as well as the money that we raise from the Baggett tournament, and we donate that to the American Cancer Society and the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And it's just a really great tournament, because you don't really realize the kind of impact that certain people have in your program and in your community. And Johnny really had that. And he was a fighter till the end. And so we use that tournament as kind of a big stepping stone to going into district and talk about what it means. And our kids always seem to come out really fired up for that tournament. Last year we met Irving MacArthur in the final, and we're fortunate enough to get past them. And riders come to our tournament virtually every year, Coach Worsma, and we were fortunate enough to play him in the tournament this year. And for me, that was a really big deal, because in 2007, my first year to do girls soccer, we played them in the regional final and lost to them after beating them in the Baggett tournament earlier in the year in the final. And they went on to, I finished, I think, second in state that year. But as Wichita Falls, they're changing a little bit this year. They're closing down their 3 high schools, starting 2 new high schools. And so to play Ryder in that game just one more time, we could still see him in the playoffs, but that was just a huge moment for me and Coach Worsma in that, at the end of the game, we got our kids together. I talked to his players a little bit, told him how much I respected him. He's got 500 wins. He's in the Tasso Hall of Fame. I have a lot of respect for him. I've lost to him several times in the playoff. He's lost to me, probably not as many, but lost to me a couple times. And just to get to talk to his kids and tell them what Ryder's meant to me over the years and Coach Worsma, I think it was really special to share that with them and to share the legacy of Johnny with them. And also just heap a little bit of praise on Coach Worsman and let him know how much I thought about him. But, as far as our kids go, they just, they really get up for the game. One of the things that I talked to him about is my pregame speech usually isn't very long. I think this year it was maybe a dozen or so words. And I just told him, hey, it's game time. And if you don't know what this game means, then you're probably not a Birdville Hawk.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, congratulations for winning it.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was quite a way to win it. There's always some kind of something that goes on during the game. There's an official's decision or, player decision or something happens. So you always expect the unexpected. And to go to PKs, it was a huge deal to beat him in PKs because I know he's one of those guys like Coach McBride. He does a lot of film study. He probably knows exactly where you're going to kick it before you ever kick it. And our kids just executed really well that day, and we ended up pulling it out. And so it's a big special win for us.
I know some people that hate it. What's your take? Do you like the PKs?
Well, I kind of like the dribble ups because I feel like it was, the PKs I feel like is an advantage to the shooter, and a lot of times on the dribble ups, I feel like that's an advantage to the keeper. And I've been really, really, really fortunate here to have some great goalkeepers: Michelle Snow, Lexi Stinson, Jane Piccarelli. Now we have Nika and Reagan. A year or two back we had one of the twins, and we've had some really good keepers, and I'd like for it to be an advantage to the keeper, but it's just kind of like with the alignment tomorrow, it's UIL whatever they decide to do, and I've just learned to just kind of let it go and just take it as it comes and just practice what you need to practice on. But if I had to go and say,
you have no control over it. So
no, not at all. But I do like the dribble ups better.
Now, I mean, I'm not a soccer expert. They've done dribble ups before?
Yeah, we had dribble ups before. I think, the MLS might've started doing it. Then we did it. And, we kind of got away from it, went back to PKs. And, it's, I think it's good to do PKs because if that's what you're going to do, and, if you move on into the playoff format, I think you just need to, you need to kind of do it the whole year. And it's great because typically whoever we scrimmage, we usually do PKs at the end. Our district does PKs. So, it's just good for us to be doing it all around.
I mean, that sounds like hockey style where you're taking the ball or the puck all the way.
Yeah, I think in the past you started at the 30, maybe you had 5 seconds to get off a shot, which seems like a long time, but it really wasn't. You had the keepers that would come out and slow pay you, the keepers that would sprint at you. You had some keepers who were a little shorter, a little taller, so you had to place your shot, or try to dribble the keeper. There was a lot more that went into it than the PKs. The PKs typically in the past, I've told the kids, we're going to shoot the same shot over and over and over. And if our keeper learns it in practice, you're just going to have to shoot it better. But with kind of the advent of, a lot of streaming, in NFHS, they play some games, where coaches can pay a membership and go back and watch. Really, you can't have your players shoot the same shot all the time because you'll watch opposing coaches that are over there going, pointing this way or pointing that way, and their keeper will already know which way to go.
Yeah.
So, it's a little more difficult to shoot PKs now, but that's just part of coaching.
I mean, the dribble up sounds a lot more fun and entertaining to me. So
I think for the fan, it was definitely a lot more entertaining. I think for the goalkeeper, it was a lot more, of a challenge. I think now with the PKs, it's, let's just pick a side and go. I do have a few things that I tell the keepers that I try to get them to focus on, and have a few things that I try to tell the shooter to try to focus on. But other than that, I think it's a lot of repetition, and for the keeper, it's a lot of confidence because, You know, I just tell them it's got to be like water on a duck's back. If you miss one, you got to move on to the next one. You can't be worried about the one that you just missed. You got to focus on the next one. That's all you can do. And our kids do a really, they do a good job of doing that.
We're less than 24 hours now from realignment day, and we've talked about this a couple of days
Yeah.
ago, but you just never know what the UIL is going to send out. But what's the one district you think makes the most sense in your mind for Birdville?
Well, I think honestly, I think UIL, like when they feel like in certain areas, you know, they kind of break up things up close. And I don't know why when they get to us, it's like I remember, last year we would get on 35 and here we're driving basically past Saginaw, past Northwest to go to drive up to Denton. So I've learned over these years to just kind of expect the unexpected. Sometimes they're going to take the easy way out. Sometimes they may mix it up. Honestly, in the area we are, it's easier to travel, east and west than it is to go north and south. I know there's probably some room in Region 2. There's a possibility we go Region 2 like our football team does. But, I mean, I kind of expect them to take the easy way out. Lake Dallas is going to drop down to 4A. Fossil Ridge is going to drop from 6. That may be an easy switch there to keep our district the same. But, honestly, I've kind of been in this district for a while. I wouldn't mind seeing us go, maybe either us and GCISD and Richland go with the Eagle Mountain Saginaw schools, maybe pick up Brewer, Azle, something like that. I can't guarantee you that's going to happen because I don't know what's going to happen with Old High dropping down. There's just so many different variables. You just can't, I've seen a lot of things projected online, a lot of stuff on Twitter. And I've seen us going from Region 2. I've seen, Arlington Seguin coming up here with us, us going down with, Joshua Cleburne, the Burlesons. So hell, I have no idea,
We all
I
don't
have a
know
lot of,
until.
yeah, I have a lot of good friends in this district. And, I'd hate to see them go, but I would welcome a new challenge, honestly.
Yeah, we all don't know until 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean it's at the FAC tomorrow 9 when they release it at 9 a.m. Is that something that do you go? Will you attend it, or are you just
Well,
this?
it is right next door for me.
Yeah,
It's a 3-minute walk, and I am the girls coordinator. So for our school, so I'll probably make a trip over there. It's kind of crazy. The first thing they pop up though is the football districts, and then all of a sudden you go getting online, you try to find the volleyball, basketball district because that's where you're going to be from a soccer standpoint for the most part. But yeah, I'll probably make a trip over there. Our district does a great job hosting that and inviting everybody in, and honestly, it's kind of cool because I see a lot of old faces. I did football early on at Birdville, and I'll see some old coaches I know that have been here, and so it's just the kind of time to do a little bonding and just kind of get over there and make a few connections.
awesome. And just get you out on this, but just talk upcoming schedule. I think you're at Argyle on Friday, and I think maybe Richland on Tuesday.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Argyle's the next big one. We know they're a good program. They have a lot of young talent. They graduated a lot of kids. They got a new coach, so I kind of expect them, to be one of those growing teams, emerging teams throughout the year. I think their coach is a former UNT player. I think she was at Bridgeport, came over last year. She was Coach Koch's assistant. He moved over from the boys' side or the girls' side to the boys' side. I think she took over. So I'm expecting them. I think they have a good midfielder, good goalkeeper returning. I'm expecting another good test. We play them at their place. Teams always get, fired up to play in their house. Richland, I mean, it's like the old Haltom Richland days back when I played and when I coached at Richland. We're all, they're a sister school. They're right down the street. They're always going to give us their best, and our kids are always going to give them their best. And it's just kind of like we'll just kind of have to see what happens. I don't even know where we play them. We could play them at the FAC or we could play them at their place. I just know they're on our schedule, and I probably wouldn't even have known we had Richland next to tell me because I've been so focused on Argyle.
Awesome. Hey, Eddie, always appreciate talking to you and seeing you, and we wish you the best of luck here in the next couple months and try to make out another game or two.
Well, hey, we appreciate everything you've done to support, BISD and Birdville High School, and in the past and in the future. And thank you for all you do. And it's a pleasure just to have somebody out there that supports what we do. A lot of times soccer's, a little lower on the totem pole, and to have somebody that brings it to the forefront and recognizes our kids and coaches and the hard works they put in, not only at our school but in the DFW area. We greatly appreciate you for what you do.
Well, thanks for that. That's Eddie Brown, head girls soccer coach at Birdville. And I'm Brian Goss at Game Time with the Goss. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.